Guys here, and welcome to another Friday. We are drawing. We got a special day today. We're going to have a good friend, Armin Serrano, join us today. It's going to be awesome. We're kind of spread out all over the place because I got the crud. I got a little flu. I'm a little under the weather, so I might sound a little stuffy, but I'm not going to let that stop us because this is a good opportunity. We couldn't pass it up. So we got Nick at his place, and I'm here. Dustin's at home working, and we're going to be talking shop and all kinds of things, animation and animation history and all kinds of fun stuff. And we're going to do some drawing as well.
Yeah. Armand should be joining us in just about 5 minutes. He's coming from another meeting here. It's just running a little over, so we'll be getting started here shortly.
He's actually doing animation work, and so he's going to be a little bit late. But we thought we'd come on and get started and talk to you guys a little bit. Matter of fact, our big news is I'm working full-time now. Now that I got the creature course out from under me, the how to create creatures, I'm working full-time on Snow Bear now, so that's really exciting. This week was my first week and got several shots done, and so we're cranking away. I'm really happy. And in regards to that, we're going to be setting up a Discord and all kinds of stuff where members are going to be able to, members of our website will be able to watch us create Snow Bear live. You can tune in each day and watch us make the magic, so to speak. Watch the paint peel.
Yeah, for those who might be watching for this first time, let me let people know we've got Aaron has a creature design course that comes out tomorrow. It's 13 videos long. I think it's like 18 hours. I'm not quite sure what the runtime is, but it's a big course. And if you pre-order it, which you can still do today over at creatureartteacher.com, you can get that for 50% off over there. And then
if you order it now, it's 50% off. If you wait till after it comes out, it's going to pop up to the regular price.
Yep. So exactly. And then we've got our summer sale going on. In addition to that, so everything on the website right now is still 30% off for more brushes, courses, what have you. So we've got a whole bunch of stuff going on. And like I said, and then Armand's course, Armand, who was going to be joining us today, he did a visual development course for us, and it's fantastic. This weekend only, that course is 50% off. That's back down to its pre-order price, which is...
and it's an amazing course. Visual development, he takes you through not just the concepts, but he also takes you through some software. So it's really full. It's really great. Armand's one of the best in the industry as far as I'm concerned. And it's first of all, it's great to have him doing a course for us, and it's even greater that we could pin him down for an hour or two and actually have him on the show today and talk to everybody. It's going to be very
cool. Someone's asking, where do they find the extra content for the members for the Snow Bear stuff? That's going to be, you'll get a link as soon as that becomes available. So that's going to be starting.
Not available yet.
Nope.
Yeah, it's the next week or so. We're working on it. We're trying to get it all set up. Meanwhile, I'm cranking away. Don't worry, you're not going to miss anything. I've got mountains and mountains and mountains of work to do, so you'll be there for 99% of it.
Yeah, Aaron's going to be working on Snow Bear for probably the next 9 or 10 months. Is kind of what we've got planned out.
Yeah, I've been, in my head I had it as like, oh yeah, we can do this, we can do this. I've been watching the whole thing over the last day or two, and I'm going, oh my God. But it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Little by little.
Yeah.
But so today you guys are going to be drawing in Magma Studio, right? So
yes, yeah, that is Spotty 2 software, right?
Yeah. So while we're waiting for Armand, do you want to start drawing, and we'll just dive in? And then once Armand's on the line, I'll let you know, and we'll go ahead and cue him up. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to your desktop, Aaron, or to your Magma, rather.
Did you switch over?
Yep.
Oh, okay, so I don't need to worry about anything?
Nope, you're good.
You can just draw. So I'm just going to start drawing. I got a little bison up here. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. There we go. I love this stuff. I pulled up some reference. I was looking at this bison. I've been doing some large charcoals lately, huge charcoals actually, and been having a lot of fun with it. And so I just pulled up some extra reference. So Yellowstone National Park. This thing jumps back and forth. There we go.
We have a Twitch question, Aaron, real quick. Someone says, I have a question real quick before I have to go stream myself. Will you be making some custom brushes for Krita now that you've been using it?
Yes, I am. Well, this is the performance on this stick is going in and out. Now it's not even drawing. I was drawing perfectly fine just a second ago, and now it's not drawing at all.
Try refreshing, maybe?
Okay. Yep, that helped. There you go. Thanks.
And we're Zoom, this is a little different than normal because we're running Zoom and Magma at the same time, so you might get some lagginess, everybody who's watching. Aaron and I are not in the same location today because for those who joined us...
I've got the crud.
Yeah, who joined us late. He's feeling sick. Dustin was sick the week before, and it's now been kind of passing around the office. I'm not feeling too hot today myself, but
I don't have COVID.
Nope. No, you took a test. It was negative. You've had it twice already.
I have, yes.
Oh, what were you saying about the bison in Yellowstone? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, I was just talking about Yellowstone, how they've been going through so much with the flooding and everything, but they're open now, as you were mentioning that one time.
It looks like Armand is on the line. I'm going to go ahead and add him into our Zoom call, and then cool. Let's go ahead and admit him here.
I'm going to jump over to Zoom real quick.
Hey,
Armand!
Hey, you guys are on the line.
Oh, man, sorry. The meeting went a little bit longer than usual, but I'm here.
Hey, we're lucky we got you for when we do.
Oh, thank you. I mean, likewise. I'm always honored to be on your show, man. Well, this is my first time, but being part of your whatever you guys are doing.
You're always honored for the very first time. Are you working with Skydance right now? Is that who you're working with?
Yeah, so I've been with Skydance.
We are live, by the way, Armand, just so you know.
Oh, we are. Okay,
yeah.
Great.
We are live. Yeah, you're talking to everybody.
Oh, hey, everybody. Yeah, I've been with Skydance for going 2 years now. The first 6 months that I was here, I was doing freelance. And so I've been working full-time for them for 1.5 years. Yeah.
So we got a lot of people tuning in that follow me, maybe don't follow you, or follow you, don't follow me, or just tuning in for the first time altogether. So I thought it might be a good opportunity for you to kind of just introduce yourself and talk about a little bit about your background. I think your background about how you got into animation and your training and everything is really interesting as well. I thought maybe you could speak on that a little bit if you want to.
Yeah. All right, man. That's how long have we? How long is the show? No, well, thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Nick. So everybody, my name is Armin Serrano. I grew up in Manila, and I never intended to be in animation to begin with. But I love to draw. My mom told me that I've been drawing since I was 2 years old, and I remember that she has the oldest drawing that she kept with her that I still remember was a drawing of a duck, that I did when I was, I think, 2.5 or 3 years old. But anyway, so that's always been my first love, although, growing up in that part of the world, especially in the 70s and 80s, there's not a whole lot of opportunity, especially animation. There's no animation program at that time. So, I went to college for engineering. I want to go to fine arts. My dad discouraged me. I want to go into music. Again, he discouraged me. Yeah, I mean, of course, the parents would always have good intentions. So he said, you won't find a real job if you do those. That's why he told me. So I I started engineering and I struggled with it. But I finished after 6 years. The payoff was I met my wife in my last year in college. Anyway, so after that, I worked a little bit in engineering for construction, and I was so bored.
This was all in Manila, right?
Yeah,
Still?
these are all in Manila. Yeah, I mean, I was overseeing a construction work, and someone cut, I think, his hand or his finger during construction, and I said, and there's blood everywhere. I said, oh, I hate blood. So, but I had my sketchbook with me the whole time. I was just sketching and sketching. Then I found out that Hanna-Barbera, Marvel TV, Warner TV, Disney TV, they all have outsourcing studios in Manila. And so I applied at Hanna-Barbera and I got in. So since we didn't have any animation program, they gave us a 6 months training to become in-betweeners, because that's the workforce of Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah.
And to make the long story short, I got in. I in between for a year for Captain Planet and the Planeteers, Yo Yogi Bear. We even did some the new adventures of Johnny Quest. That was fun. So anyway, from that, and then I found out that there's a layout department, which actually draw backgrounds and camera mechanics, and so I applied in that department. I got in. Then when I was in layout, Marvel contacted me to supervise their layout. So I moved to Marvel and supervised, I don't know, a season or two of X-Men, the TV series, Fantastic Four. And that's the time I worked with Paul Felix's brother, Felix. And that's how I met Paul, through the phone. And so my mind, they encouraged me to, maybe you should go to the US. Then I applied in the US. I got into video games. So I moved to the US in 96. I started in 90. So I came here to the US 96, took some classes, and lo and behold, Paul Felix was my teacher in Associates in Art, and built my portfolio during that 13 weeks under him and Jim Schlenker. And after the program, I got in. I got hired at Disney to work in Mulan, and off I go. They shipped me to Florida.
I remember. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, Armand and I worked together in Florida. That's where we met. And it seems though, 96 doesn't seem that long ago. And I always thought you were there longer than 96, but I guess not. But
no, actually, I came on board 97 on my birthday, February 10th. That was my day one.
Wow.
At Disney. So that's the best, probably one of the best gifts I received on my birthday.
What was your first project?
So anyway, yeah, so I would say that's the start of my career here in the US.
Yeah. What was your first project at Disney, Armand?
Mulan.
Mulan? Okay.
Yeah. So he came in, because you came in 97, February 97. I went off of Mulan right around the end of the summer of 97. That's when I started Brother Bear. And then Armand and I worked together on Brother Bear as well.
Yeah. So those are fun. Actually, it was Bob Walker. I mean, I was only in the studio for 6 months, and Bob had me do some workbook. And at that time, I didn't even know what workbook is. So he showed it to me. He gave me some pointers. Then I guess that opened a lot of doors for me when he gave me some pointers. He kind of mentored me in how to do workbook, and we had some Bruce Block workshops. And I think what I learned from Bob and the Bruce Block workshops, and working with some of the journeymen in layout, that I think that 1 year that I was working on Mulan as a workbook artist, I think that that would probably it's equal to maybe, I don't know, 4 years of
college.
I know. Yeah, because Hans Bauer was the production designer.
When I did my internship with Disney, way back in the 80s, I felt like that 6 weeks of internship felt like 2 years of college for me. It was,
Yeah. I still have, I think, some of the sketches that Hans would give me, to correct some of the composition. And, those are I think, the biggest influences for me as an artist, and working under Paul and Lilo and Stitch. I think that kind
yeah.
of, that's the time that, I learned the Disney way. I would say that I got the grasp of how to do backgrounds, the classic way of how Disney did it in the past. So yeah,
Yeah,
till
got
now
some
I still
beautiful,
have those.
beautiful layouts on Lilo too. They were great.
Oh, thank
For
you,
Yeah,
thank
brother.
you.
for some people
Yeah.
that might not know, can you explain a little bit, or maybe both of you can, what a workbook is and how that relates to the animation process?
And layout itself too, how it relates to layout. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you want me to explain it?
Yeah, go ahead. You're the
All
man.
right, so of course you got the script, right? The script turns into storyboards or story art. Actually, just to correct everybody, storyboard is not really a storyboard. Storyboard is the board where you put the story art on.
Like a
And
story.
by the way, for those of you who don't know, it was Disney who invented storyboarding prior to Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Nobody storyboarded their movies, until that time. So he kind of paved the way for that. So we have storyboards. The storyboards were done mostly quick sketches by the story artist, just to give. It's very story driven. Then we take those storyboards and layout artists. Actually, so there's different layers in layout. So we have the journeyman, then we have the key layout artist, then we have the layout assistants. So the journeyman will take those storyboards and uh, turn them into workbooks. So that's why they're called scene designers. So so imagine, from a scribble drawing of the storyboard artist, we will design it as if how it's going to look like on screen.
Yeah, you're coming
So
up with
we
a plot for the movie.
Yeah, so we decide if there's going to be a pan, if there's going to be a tilt, if there's going to be, and we have to make sure that the proportions are correct on the characters. And so we have to know both sides. We have to learn how to draw characters at least, and of course the backgrounds. And the backgrounds has to be as close as we could get to what we want to see on the screen. So it's pretty much we're designing the scene right there. Um,
Yeah, that's
then
what
then
people, I think a lot of people don't understand is that when you're doing layout, you're not just designing the background and where the
no,
characters go. You're figuring out the camera moves and
yeah.
basically that cinematographer, background designer, everything for that section.
Yeah, so we have to also adjust, we have to make sure that the hookups are correct. We have to make sure, principle of visual storytelling in terms of the consistency of lighting, consistency of the cutting, if it's we decide, oh, this has to be a medium shot, then we cut to an establishing shot and what that would look like. So we have to sometimes I would do a key. um, if we have a color key, I would do a lighting key for it. So I would know the continuity of lighting. I would do a move camera movement key. So I would know if we wanna make a portion of a sequence the highlight, or this would be the action scene.
Yeah.
So the camera would start so stationary, just everything's horizontal. There we're gonna put some movement to it. So it's gonna, if we graph it, it's gonna spike a little bit.
Yeah.
Then there's more spike. If you want to have some big zoom or camera movement, then it's gonna settle again. So visually, if we graph it, or if we do a camera key on it, we would somehow visualize the entirety of the camera move, and we can control that. We do the coordinates of the camera, what we how the camera would move. We have to do the camera, the character poses also, where the starting point, they would start this big, they would run, and they're gonna end up this big. So the
So
camera move will go to the camera department. The character poses will go to you guys in animation. So that's your starting point. Then the background designs underneath will go to the background department, and everything will be composited back in camera later on.
So that's just what I was going to say. So a lot of what you're doing in that workbook actually then drives what Aaron does as an animator, right?
Yeah, drives
yeah,
everything.
go ahead, Aaron.
Oh, I was just gonna say it drives everything. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a I would say it's the workbook is a thumbnail of what we're gonna see on the big screen. So normally what we're gonna do is if the workbook gets approved, we will just gonna blow it up in our I don't know if you guys know what a zoomer is. A zoomer was. It's a big it's a big Xerox machine that go up to like 400%. And so we would Xerox, if you guys Google just Google Xerox. So photocopy that and blow it up inside those field guides. And basically that's the starting point, and we handed it over to the key layout artist, and that's the starting point of layout, and everything is being consistent because we have peg holes. The peg holes will keep everything in place. So whether it goes to the background, it goes into camera, or it goes into animation, everything is perfectly in place because of those peg holes and the coordinates that we have on those animation discs.
So we're getting a couple of questions, and first of all, I shared your. People were asking if you have social media, so I shared your Instagram out there,
that's perfect.
Armand. Yeah. And so that's in the comments for everybody. But someone asked, do workbooks have color? Are they color, or are they just black and white?
No, they're black and white. But we if we have time, if time allows, we could push it up to there's a quick tonal gradation on them, so up to values. Then the color will worry that afterwards.
Yeah, but you are. Yeah, but just to make it very clear, you are responsible for that value. For thinking about value, is the character going to be light over dark? Is the character going to be shadows? You know, you're thinking about all that black and white grade A. You know, the gradient structure, and then the color stylist, the background painter, the art director, they'll decide the color, but they stay within those values that you've established.
Right, because without the values, even we draw them in, let's say, just line work, it's so hard to tell that story or visualize the story because of the lighting, so we have to make sure that everything is consistent. So once those shots leave layout, everything is in place up to the consistency in values, in lighting especially. So of course, there's still some modifications happen afterwards, but the groundwork. I remember, I think it was Bob who said, if we invest so much time at the beginning, a lot of those problems in the end will be covered. Will be solved already. So I remember we spent like a month or a month and a half just on one sequence, but it would make the production smooth.
For those people that might not know who Bob was, Bob Walker was the co-director on Brother Bear, and he was also the head of layout.
Before that, he was the head of layout, exactly. So Armand worked very closely with him. I worked very closely with him, not just as a director, but also as an animator. I was in and out of Bob's office. So
So do you guys want to jump over to drawing, and then we can continue to talk and draw at the same time?
Yeah.
Does that sound good?
Sure.
I'll jump over. I'm going to switch the screen. Everybody's going to be able to see what you're drawing, and they'll also see you guys down in the lower portion of it, so you can still talk to camera as well.
Cool. So what are we doing? What are we drawing?
You can draw whatever you want. We're just sitting here. It's like having coffee and doodling.
Okay. All right. So let me think.
You draw what you want to draw. I'll draw what I want to draw, and we'll answer questions. And we're gonna have a great time doing it.
And
draw a character, Aaron. I'll put a background on it.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
That's a great idea. Let me see.
Yes,
let me draw.
So for everybody can probably tell, but Aaron is the pink cursor, and Armand is going to be the green cursor. So you'll be able to see whose lines are which.
All right. Let me draw this first. Because I am neck deep on Snow Bear now.
I know. I'm excited for that. Oh,
Yeah, I'm excited for you to see it because I'm doing workbook, layout, everything else on it too.
man,
I want,
you're like
I want to
the
see what
one
you
man
think.
band.
We are trying to twist Armand's arm into doing a layout course with us. So everybody, stay tuned for that.
I know. You know what? Bef- just right before you texted me on it, my wife asked me about it. Being asked me, Aaron, it's like, don't you think you may want to do some, layout kind of tutorial or
Yep.
even pencil tutorial? She said. And there's
Oh,
a couple of guys asked me online too. If I could do something.
Yeah,
Hold on. I haven't used Magma in a while, so I can create my own layer too, huh?
yeah. I
yeah.
think you can put your layer behind his too if you want it to be a background. I think you
Here,
can
I'll move mine
rearrange.
out of the way. Whoops.
So add a layer. How do I do that? Okay, there you go. I got it.
And then just like
Oh,
Photoshop,
okay, okay.
you got to make sure you're drawing on the right layer, just like Photoshop.
Yeah.
People asking what
Actually,
program is this? This is Magma. If you go to I think it's magma.com now. They own. It used to be magmastudio.io or whatever, but they own magma.com. Oh, someone's saying my mic is loud. Might be because I'm close to the.
Oh, I didn't think it was too bad,
oh,
but
this is good. Yeah, I've used this before at Lightbox.
yes, exactly.
Yeah,
This is Bobby Chu's.
I know. This is so cool. Hold on.
It is. The
So
fact
I'm
that we
trying
can
to.
sit and do this together, I think, is great.
Yep.
Speaking of which, we got a bunch of people saying they would love a layout course. and
Oh, and of
then,
course.
yeah,
So there you
and
go.
and then speaking of Lightbox, someone asks, "Are you going to be at Lightbox, Armand?"
No, this is the only my that's my daughter's 18th birthday that weekend,
Ah,
and for those of you watching, for Filipinos, 18th birthday for a daughter is big. Just like a quinceañera for in Mexico. 18 is for us, so that weekend is reserved already for her. But actually, I'm participating on the concept design contest, the concept art contest from Concept Art Association, and I'm one of the judges. So I'll probably send a video, for that because I won't be able to attend you know, the uh, the actual giving of prizes, of the people who won.
Is this
someone
where you want?
asked.
Is this okay for position on the layout?
Oh yeah, you could change it. I could modify the background. Um,
So,
Perfect.
someone asks Armand, how old were you when you got your first job in the industry? So you said it was Hanna Barbera, right? How old were you at that time?
yeah, I was 23 years. Yeah, 23 years old at the time in Manila. Yeah,
Let's see.
Oh, I want to let
actually,
people. Oh, go ahead.
I met Bill Hanna. He actually went there. Bill Hanna, William Hanna of Hanna Barbera. He went there and visited the studio. So yeah, I mean that's the first time I've seen an actual legend in animation.
That's super cool. I want to let people know that we actually are running a sale on Armand's course, his visual development course on our website. It is 50% off this weekend if you go over to
Cool.
creatureartteacher.com.
Yeah.
So that course has been really popular. People love it. If you don't have it, this is a good weekend to get it.
I know Erica May did it, and she loves it.
Yeah, she's watching right now.
Oh, Erica. Yeah. Oh, I
She's
love
one of the
Erica.
ones that said she would love a layout course. Apart from Milt Call, Aaron, which of the other Nine Old Men animators were some of the ones that you looked up to?
Frank and Ollie. I really love Frank and Ollie, and um, all of them. I mean, they were all amazing, and Ward was really interesting. You know, they're all so different, but all just incredible artists, and so they all had something different to to offer, that's what was really cool about it.
What about you, Armand? Same question. Who are your favorite of the Nine Old Men?
Oh, actually, I like them all. I mean, it feels like everyone has a their
Like different strengths,
own
right?
distinct quality to it. So, and I'm not an animator, so I cannot really distinguish what this guy, what's the difference in terms of how they animated the characters. But I have books about them. It's so interesting about their lives, and how they carried over the legacy with them. But if I may change the question, instead of the Nine Old Men, maybe Disney artists that I love. I love Hans, definitely Hans Bacher. I think a lot of what he gave, especially working on Mulan, influenced me a lot. That's my on the job training / education in, in layout.
For those of you who
Um,
don't know, that Hans Bacher is one of the production design. Well, he's an amazing designer, but he was one of
yeah,
our production designers on Mulan and The Lion King, and
yeah, it's like he worked on all those classics, right? He worked
yeah,
with you guys. I mean, you guys probably have known him for a long time. I remember the first time I came on board, everybody was telling me, "Oh, you should see Hans. Hans is very tough." You know, he would say things if you're doing something that doesn't kind of it doesn't look right. He would tell you bluntly.
well, he would tell you in no one. Yeah, he would be very honest and very blunt.
Yeah. So one time he came by, I was working on a shot wherein I think I have some grass on the foreground, blades of grass.
Yeah,
And just like anybody, sometimes you never knew that. Oh, they're looking. Oh, the distances on the blades are equal. So he came by my desk. He said, "Oh, your grass looked like a fence. Like a picket fence." Then he started laughing. So, in my mind, I said, "That's true." Once he said it, it was actually right. He was dead on. It looks like fence. So I started laughing too. So I told the guys, he's not that bad. Actually, I like him because he's so honest about about his comments. So anyway, so that's the first time I met him. But yeah, he was probably my favorite among the Disney artists. I love Paul Felix. I think very big influence. Um, yeah, to me. So yeah, I
Someone's
hope you don't
asked.
mind me. You don't mind me with changing the question.
No, not at all. Not at all. In fact, someone was asking what films you've worked on, and the list is huge. But Patrick posted on YouTube, these are just some of the ones that I know. You worked on Lilo and Stitch. You worked on Mulan, Brother Bear, Surf's Up, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, Hotel Transylvania, Big Hero 6, Zootopia. I know you just did a ton of work on What If, right, for Marvel. Um,
Yeah, the first season of What If. Yeah.
yeah, and then I know you've done dozens and dozens of other projects as well. So, yeah, Armand
yeah.
is a
This is
huge.
something I just want to reiterate for people that are new to our site. When we created our site, back when I was in school, I had so many instructors that were just out of touch. They weren't part of the industry of whatever they were teaching anymore, and they really were out of touch with what was going on. And so when we created the site here, I wanted to make sure that we brought people in that are big people in the industry, which is why we have Armand, because he's sought after. He's great. He's amazing. artist. And so it's that thinking that, helps, I think, fill out the website so well.
Oh, thank you. And likewise, I always admire, your tutorials, everything that you've been giving to a lot of the artists out there. Every time, because I do mentorship, personal mentorship, as long as my schedule allows it. And every time, it's an advanced mentorship though. So if someone applied to me and they're not quite there yet, because I want to keep it advanced. It's so hard for me to teach, from the very basics to,
Yeah.
the actual visual storytelling. But they would ask me if they have recommendations. I always recommend, your school and brainstorm. Those are the two staple, and also school listen. So I said, you guys have a lot of choices here, that you can go into, so you can check out, where you at, and you can see, in what level you're in. But your site, the stuff that you have on your website it's so relevant, because the people that you have, teaching, they are in the industry, they're still in the industry, so they know what's going on, they know what's the trend, they know what clicks and what doesn't click anymore, I guess. But even myself, I bought your animation class. I'm not an animator, but oh, that looks good.
Yeah, man.
We would have just given it to you. But
Oh no, it's
did
it's okay.
Armand, did you do any of the watercolor backgrounds in Lilo and Stitch, or because someone's saying that seems like it would be
No,
really easy to mess up?
no, they're all. I do the pencil part, so that's.
Mm,
I like to think of myself as a pencil ninja. That's that's my
Right.
thing. So I'm a pencil guy. I'm not. I wasn't a painter. I do some paintings, but not a whole lot of paintings. Um, so we had to mimic. That's why I learned a lot from Rob Rupel when we were working on Lilo, and Paul Felix and Marcelo Vignali, because when they did their pencil work, they don't just do them. They didn't just did them in such a way that they would look nice. They did them with the watercolor in their mind. So there's some, how can they create some wash effects on pencil? And when I saw those, it's like, wow, these are great. Some of the details, you can see them. The lost and found details, kind of like a Tyrus Wong type of painting, but translated into pencil. So anyway, yeah. So that's as close as I could get on painting them. I painted them using pencil.
And then someone asks Aaron if we're going to post this image when you guys are done, and I'm assuming we will, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a question. So there's a lasso tool here. So this behaves like a same lasso.
I believe
think
it
so.
does.
Okay.
It's
Hopefully.
not too far off of like Photoshop if you use them.
Photoshop, yeah.
And on YouTube, I have a comment. Armand, Eric Tran says hi from Guatemala. Do you know who
Oh,
that is?
Eric, yeah, he's a good friend of mine. Yeah, he's great. Oh, there you go. Maybe this would work.
And I know this is a pretty broad question. We've gotten a lot of variations on this question already. Just so everybody knows, I'm the only one fielding questions today, and I'm trying to field them from YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. So bear with me. And I'm trying not to interrupt you guys as speaking too much. So we've got a lot of variations on this question, which is basically, advice for how to break into the animation industry. And do you think it's viable to work as a freelancer, or should you only be trying to work for studios? What do you guys think on that, about that? I know those are broad.
I'm going
Yeah.
to let you take that.
So, can you repeat the question again? Sorry.
So just do you have any general advice for how to break into the animation industry? And then secondly, do you think being a freelancer is a viable option, or do you need to work for studios?
Okay, so the first question, how to break into the industry, is create a great portfolio. You know, portfolio would be, you know, it doesn't matter what school you came from. It doesn't matter what background. When I look at a portfolio, to hire someone in the studio, I don't really look at, you know, I don't even look at what's the age, or it's the portfolio that matters. So you have to have a solid portfolio, and the portfolio has to be tailor-made to a specialization that you wanted to do. If you want to be a character designer, then the portfolio has to be a character design portfolio. If you want to be an environmental designer, then the environment would be the priority in your portfolio. And you can have, if you're, let's say, if you want to go for environment design and you also do some character design, but make sure that once you look at the portfolio, it's obviously an environment portfolio. And just like a book, part one would be in environment and part two would be characters, you know, so that's your secondary skill. The other question is it still viable to get into the industry? Is that
No, the second question was, is being a freelancer a viable career, or do you need to work for
I guess it's up to you.
I think it depends on how driven you are. I mean, you've done freelance as your career. I've done freelance as my career, and you got to hustle. You hustle.
Yeah. You know, there's that. You know, you have to keep hustling, and you have to also freelancing. If you're doing different clients at the same time, sometimes they have different needs. So suppose when you're in the studio, you're more focused in just one project. So I always work in feature animation. So, you know, for 1 year, I'm just focused on just one project. When I was working as a freelancer, I would get work from games, I would work from, you know, TV and some animation or streaming. So they had different needs, and I even took some work from advertising. So I would do some storyboard. So that's when you had to. It always, I would say, it always helped to expand your skill sets. So, you know, if you have time on your own that you can spend learning another skill set. Especially 3D, that's something that I always encourage, especially if you want to be in environment design. If you have a little bit of 3D skill as part of your workflow, that's always a plus now. And also, it for me, the 3D aspect kept everything faster. So if you're doing multiple jobs at the same time, speed will be an asset, you know, will be your ally too. So not to sacrifice quality, but you have to find a way to keep the quality going, and at the same time to speed up the process a little bit. So for me, you know, the use of a little bit of 3D on the side helps a lot. So yeah, I hope that answered the question. Yeah.
No, it did. One of the cool things that I thought was really neat in your new course was there was a whole section where you did VR visual development. You laid out the, you know, mocked something up really quick in virtual reality, and then you went in and brought those camera angles into Photoshop and painted over top of them, and it seemed like such an efficient way to get perspective and stuff like that down without having to think about it.
What I love about you, Armand, is that you're always picking up new technology. You're not afraid of it.
No, I'm not afraid of it. You know, these are just vehicles. Sometimes, you know, we think of this as a, you know, as a destination. Oh, if only I could, you know, learn this and that. But these are just tools. You know, we have to. The destination is to create that artwork that's needed to, you know, for the job. So these are just tools. So I build them, and I'm not afraid to break them too. So it's like your sketch, you know, you sketch it in 3D. If it's working, cool. If it's not, just break them, you know, because I'm not trying to be a modeler. I'm just using it as a tool, just like Photoshop. I'm just using it as a tool to to get to the design that I wanted. So, but now that you mentioned about VR, it really helped me a lot to speed up my process. And my love affair with 3D died long time ago because I hated vertices, I hated UVs, wireframing. Every time I build something in Maya, it's like, oh, the wireframing is bad. So I gave up on it. Then when SketchUp came along, actually I tried ZBrush, but it's always very organic for me. And also I opened ZBrush. There's like 50 tools in front of me. It's like I didn't know where to start. Then SketchUp came along, and that's the one that I use, especially when I was working on Zootopia. That sped up the process for me. I block things out quickly. There's a warehouse wherein I can borrow some models just to use as placeholders. But every time I design something, perspective is done. I can kind of mock up a camera. So in terms of lenses. Then when actually it was Goro Fujita who got me into VR early on when he was developing Quill. So I got into it, and then I tried Quill. It was great, but it wasn't the one that's working for me. So I tried Medium and Gravity Sketch, and those were the ones that I've been using until now, especially Medium, Adobe Medium. And because in Medium, I'm actually sketching in space. I can do hard surface modeling, and I found out that what I could build in 1 hour, probably it would take me a whole day or two in Maya to build that, or even
Yeah.
more. And it was down and dirty. When you bring it into Blender, you will see the vertices are all dirty and stuff. But it doesn't matter. I'm not trying to be a modeler. I'm trying to visualize something in space. And now, being a production designer at Skydance, it's almost like I spend more time in VR and in Unreal or Blender designing everything right there quickly. As it's faster than I would draw them, as opposed to actually painting and drawing. Because painting, as soon as I work something out in space, I can play around with lighting. I can play around with move things around, get my shot, then paint over it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I could crank up 5, 6 good paint overs in 1 week, as opposed to if I have to do something from scratch, it would take me longer. So anyway, again, it's just a tool, whatever works for you. But for me, it works a lot. So
We
and
got
nobody knows if I'm playing video game also.
We got a comment here from on the YouTube. Somebody saying that I started learning ZBrush from Tony Cipriano's course on Create Your Art Teacher. So now I've gotten deep into 3D modeling. Thank you so much for this. So yeah, we have a Tony. Or if you want to learn ZBrush, Armand, he's the guy.
I know Tony's amazing. It's for him to translate what he can do in actual sculpt. For him to translate that into ZBrush, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah, we've got a summer sale going on our website, and everything's 30% off or more, and that includes Tony's courses. And I've got a little slide up for that right now. But it's really cool. One of the things you talked about, Armand, is the overwhelming interface of ZBrush, because I thought the exact same thing. And so what Tony did with his course is he basically included a custom interface that has only the tools that he uses, and it's like 3 tools. So he's like 90% of it you don't even need to. He approaches it like a regular sculptor. He's like I don't need all that stuff. He's like, I just need some clay and a couple of sculpting tools.
Yeah, that's all you need. Yeah, that's true.
But it is overwhelming
Well,
when you jump into it.
Yeah, because in VR it's the same way. I open it. I only have, I think, 6 or 7 tools, and it's very specific: clay, paint, uh, move tool, and that's it. So I don't have to think too much. Then I found ways, how to create a workflow around it. You can create stamps, so I can say if we have brushes in Photoshop, I can create stamps in there. So that speeds up the process, and it's
What?
3D. So yeah.
Oh no, no, that's fine. Go. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on
Oh
you.
no, no, and it's 3D. So it always helps me to to visualize, let's say, an environment quickly in space. So I can measure already. It's like, oh, so I go inside. Let's say I'm creating a hut, so I can stretch it. I can be inside the hut, so I can look at it. Okay, so I'm thinking on the board, on the script, we will have a shot from here and here and here, so I can plot them already. So once I did that, I could show it to I can give a $50 tour, to the director, to whoever from the studio, give them a tour shot by shot according to the script. I can build the entire set already for that sequence, and walk them through and how they see it. So, and in real time, if they said, "Yo, you know what? We want to see this. Oh, you want a tree here? I can just add a tree right there from that shot. There's a lens to it, so I can manipulate the lens. So before you know it, in less than a week's time, the whole script for that sequence has been plotted out, and then they're designed, and I can just go back, design them. I'm a production designer, so I can do the art direction already in
Yeah.
terms of the visual language. Then that model, I say them, the usual FBX or OBJ. The camera previous, they can already use that. It's already set, so they didn't have to start from scratch. They can already plot those cameras, as the board would ask. And at the same time, if we have a vendor, if we have a production crew, I can hand it over. They're not gonna use it per se, but that's a starting point. They have to rebuild the whole thing and clean it up. But at least they're not gonna start from scratch. They already have something. So I remember there was one guy. I think it was the visual effects guy at Marvel.
Yeah.
He told us that's when I started using it heavily. He said, "Oh, this saved us like anywhere from 2 to 3 months of
Wow.
production work." So yeah, when I heard that, it was really encouraging. So gave me the boldness to start working on it. So anyway, just
We
want to
have
share that.
we have a
Pretty
couple people
incredible.
that are watching from the Philippines that are saying, "Oh wow, a visual development artist who's Filipino." Um, for those that don't know, Armand does a big conference every year. Are you doing it again this year? Are you doing Icon Manila this year?
Oh, yeah.
Did I put you on the spot? Sorry.
Okay. Yes, a little bit. We haven't announced it yet, but
Okay.
we are actually, this is the only year. This is our 8th year. We're
Hmm.
skipping a year for some reason. So this is the first time you guys are hearing this.
Well, you don't
We are
have to say
skip.
it.
You don't have to say
No,
it. Yeah, that's
I
fine.
could say it. We're gonna announce it anyway. We just had a meeting about it actually 2 nights ago, and the reason for that, because the entry policies in the Philippines kind of fluctuates
Ah.
in terms of COVID restrictions. Then
Hmm.
it's gonna open up. Then so it's so hard. We never know. Let's say if our speaker is vaccinated or not. I don't like asking those questions. So if they go there, if I give them both. Okay, this is the guideline. If you're vaccinated, not, or you don't have a booster, you have only vaccination. So all this, from what we've been hearing, we did a lot of research. We have people on site, and it's very inconsistent. They're
Yeah.
even saying maybe we should go to another airport down south. Then they would fly from down south to Manila, and everybody knows that flight, the cost of flying now has almost doubled because of the cost of jet fuel. So it's hard for us. Well, we're leaving us, to to kind of like a big variable. If what if you know, we ship the we ship them all the stuff that we were using. Well, we have the speakers fly only to be, you know, only to quarantine, for example, for a week.
Yeah.
Then we lost that one. So there's so many inconsistencies still happening, and we don't want to go back to online because we saw that when we did the online we did the online last year presentation, we went down 50%. So I think people are getting tired of online.
Yeah.
So we told them, you know, we're not gonna do online things. So now we're kind of got stuck in the middle. So we decided, you know what, it's not gonna hurt if we wait for another, you know, another year. And I think in the Philippines too, based out from research from our people on site who are into events, there's so many requirements too when we have if we're gonna have an event. I think they only restrict the number of people inside a site. um, so yeah, and there's a new government, so we still have to wait and see how this gonna pan out. So yeah, with all those things, I think
It's a lot
it's
to think
okay.
about.
It's a lot, yeah. So I think it's okay. It's okay for us to wait a little bit. Although, having said that, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do some activities online, and that's what we're working on. That even though we're not gonna be on site or having an event, we would have some probably contest, drawing contest,
Like
you
smaller
know,
events
painting.
throughout the year,
Yeah,
basically.
online. So because there's a lot of people who still want to you know, kind of keep this going, and I want to keep it going too. So
Aaron has
yeah,
lost his
we're in the
mind and
works
is
of that.
drawing pink bears.
Oh, that's fun, actually.
It's
I should have put colors already.
Oh no, it's all good. And
You know?
it's Armand's fault that I became completely hooked on Filipino food.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Well, that's where I was going with it. Is even though you're not having the event this year, it's a great event. I can't wait to get there one year. And for people that are based in, you know, Asia and Southeast Asia and all that stuff, I imagine it's got to be really cool to have an event. If you guys do look up Icon Manila, I'll post a link. Some of the past years, I know you've had some incredible artists there. You know,
oh,
and
thank you. Yeah, yeah. You should definitely go. You know, on the next one, God willing, if we have one next year, that's our goal. So we're already planning for next year.
that's terrific.
So yeah, yeah.
Armand,
Thank you.
someone wants to know, you mentioned Blender. Have you tried using the grease pencil at all? Which I know that's for doing 2D in Blender, right?
Yeah, I tried that before, but it was a bit. I think at that time, when I tried it, it was still kind of clunky.
Mm-hmm.
So I never gotten back to it yet. One of our VisDev artists actually is using it, and it looks interesting, promising. So yeah, one of these days I would I would try it. You know, that's the only thing with me at the moment. You know, so if 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 I'm in production, it's so hard for me to. I have to spend like I remember I took 2 days off from work just to learn Blender. So I bought a tutorial, learned Blender, then I got the hang of it. Then I have to spend kind of like a day or two. I have to invest in it in order to learn a new thing. So if I have to learn grease pencil, I have to find the time again, you know, to I have to find the time again to learn that. But yeah, I've seen stuff that looks amazing with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you? I know you're working at Skydance. Do you go in, or are you working from home? How is that being done nowadays?
Oh, I work from home
Oh,
because I live outside LA. I live in a town called Eastvale, which is, I would say, 65, 60 miles away from LA. So I'm toward the desert. Yeah, so they allow me to work from home. Yeah, so
Great.
Yeah, some of the studio employees, they're starting to go back into the studio. Um, but I'm still at home. I think I would be able to do more at home than getting stuck in LA traffic.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, this is a big subject that we often talk about now, and that's the, post-COVID, so many more people work from home now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and it really has opened up, I think, a lot of opportunity for people that aren't necessarily, in the country, but want to work in our industry here in the States. Do you have any experience with that? Have you seen people working from overseas, working on any of the projects you're working on, or?
Yeah, we do. I mean, that's the beauty of, I think, one of the silver lining of, the lockdown. It opened up opportunities to people off-site. Normally, you have to be in LA to work in LA, but now in our crew, we have one working from Poland, we have one from Sweden, we have from Spain. I'm outside of LA, so I'm also off-site.
Yeah.
One of our production designers, she moved back to France. So yeah, that's the beauty of our technology now. I believe also in the union we got it was ratified, right? That even if you're outside, you can be unionized, something like that. I was reading something on it when we voted on the union. So things are, these are remarkable things,
Yeah.
opportunities that we don't have 20 years ago. So
It was so different.
it was so different. Yeah, it's so different
Especially
now
if
than
you're outside
before.
the country,
Yeah,
going to work in the
yeah,
state, vice versa. It was so hard to get, someone in. And I guess it still is to get somebody into the country, but to work with somebody, remotely, it's not so hard anymore.
yeah, yeah. And so now we could choose. In a way, it's a good thing. In a way, also, I think the downside of it is the competition now is high because you're now competing not only against the people in the country, so you're now competing with people on the outside. So that kind of ups the ante, you know. So there's always pros and cons in things, but still it's good, and I'm so happy that I get to see this in my lifetime.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, it's such a different world from, when we were in it, back in the 90s and the 80s.
yeah, yep. Oh, truly so
Coming to the
different. Yeah.
realization now, we've got a whole crop of people coming into our industry that don't know what the 1900s are like.
Yeah, I know.
So
I,
it's
yep.
so it's
I
interesting
remember.
how different the perspective is.
Yeah. Okay, this is one perspective. Is when I was at Disney in Florida, I never owned a cell phone the whole time I was in Florida because in my mind, I have a phone. They gave me a landline in the studio. Uh, why get a cell phone? And I'm just work home every day. I stayed up late in the studio. So if my wife needs to call me, she knows where to find me. So until when the studio shut down and I had to move back to LA, um, people are telling me, "You have no phone?" It's almost like, so I got this big block of Motorola phone. I remember my first, phone. So that was the life before.
Yeah,
You know,
I didn't get a phone until I think 2003, I think. So
uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the life we live in. We use the landline.
So, someone asked on Twitch if you use Unreal in any of your work, and I know you mentioned earlier that you do. How do you use that? Is that for, like, where does that work into your workflow?
Yeah, I use Unreal. I started dabbling it when it was Unreal 4. Then I also use Twin Motion, which is also made by Unreal, but it's an architectural software, 3D software that Unreal made. So all the technology and assets of Unreal Engine can be accessed also in Twin Motion. So so once you open Unreal, you will see Twin Motion. Then so I use actually Twin Motion more. It's just because for the speed, but having the power of Unreal, it works out really well, because what we do, it's pretty much like an architectural details, whether it's landscape or organic or architectural. Everything, the lighting stays the same. And but with Unreal 5, with the nanite technology, for people who are into it, um, it's almost like it's endless possibilities. The nanite is you can dump as much as you want model, and it's not going to slow down your computer. Anything that goes into the distance, they break them into triangles. So yeah, it's amazing. I'm using it slowly, but I used to Twin Motion got updated too. So the technology, the lighting also in Unreal 5 is unreal. It looks so real. It before, when we have bounce lights, you have to create another light for the bounce light, so you have to kind of cheat it. Now with the lumen technology of Unreal 5, all the it's almost simulating what's real. When you look at it, it's like that's it. It's almost point and drag kind of deal, and put the lighting and boom, wow, so it's already working. Again, I use it, but I use the Twin Motion more just because of the speed of it. But it's also part of Unreal. So, but if I need to see, the kind of like the line work, the vertices, and all the, or if I need to do some more stuff with it, yeah, Unreal would be the thing. I also use Blender, because of just the ease of use of that software. So, and the cool thing about, again, I'm so amazed with this. In our lifetime, this stuff are free.
Yeah,
Maria, I
right.
remember
Yeah,
you had
exactly.
to buy Maria $2,000. I remember when we were leaving Disney in Florida. Like, who would want to buy a $2,000 software? I was thinking, but Unreal, it's free. Just have to create an account, and
Yeah, it's pretty
it's
cool.
Unreal.
It's unreal, baby.
It's Unreal, yeah. So I always encourage my students, learn this, guys. I mean, you guys, it's almost like you have something, and especially the younger folks, the younger artists. For us, we're older, we have a lot of responsibilities, we have kids, and we have a lot of things going. But if you're a kid and you're just right off college and you still have a lot of time to burn, I tell them, instead of playing video games, learn this, and you're well ahead of the game already. You eliminate people that probably would be designing on the same level. Imagine if you have 10 people, 10 artists applying for the same job, and they're all in the same skill level. Who would we want to, and they're all available, who would I want to have on my team? Of course, if I see, oh, this one uses 3D, this one uses 3D, and or VR or whatever, so they have a little bit more skill set. Of course, that tops the other one who's still kind of doing it traditionally. So I'm not saying that's always a thing, but yeah, you would be one step ahead of the game if 3D, especially those 3D, Unreal, Blender. um yeah, so anyway, so that's my spiel on it.
Good advice. Always trying to get Dustin to learn a little bit more, but can't get him off the video games, like you said. Wish he was here to defend himself.
Well, look, my son, he just last night. So my son, I don't know if you guys know, my son Luke. So he wants to be a character designer in games. So he's doing a lot of things on the side. They're doing him and his buddies. They're doing some NFT stuff. But he's doing some brainstorm mentorships, and he's improving a lot. But last night he started using so my old VR. He has it, so he dabbled in it a little bit. I showed him Twin Motion. Last night, through a friend, he was forced to. He's doing some freelance for a friend of mine, and he was forced to kind of forced to learn how to use Substance Painter 3D, and he got it in an hour. He was able to texture paint
Oh, really?
the whole set in it because it's like Photoshop, but you have a 3D model, so you're actually painting on the model. So even if you have a gray model, you can paint it whatever you want. If it's a character, you can paint the skin however you want. You can put a real texture, or you can paint it. You can do both because it's layered, just like Photoshop. Then he was so he got into it so quick that he gets so excited about it, So
That's
so
great.
he said, "Oh, maybe I should, spend more time doing this." And I said, "Yeah, try everything, while you can, because there would come a time when you start having your families, you may not have the same opportunity and time anymore." So yeah, that's my daddy. That's my daddy advice to
Yeah,
everybody.
we're full of it. Well,
Yeah.
we got
Full
quite a
of
little
something.
up here or something. Yeah.
People are saying
So
this looks really trippy.
It is. Look, this guy's going to be green.
Are you gonna at the end, Aaron, turn off each layer so because I know you're just putting the bears at different spots in the background. Are you gonna see how they lay out?
Well, they're meant to be kind of blending in with the layout. They're meant to be using the layout, like they're sitting on the
Well, that's what I
branches.
mean. But if you isolated each bear, it would look like, hey, he's here, or now he's over here, now he's over here.
Oh, yeah. I guess. Yeah, except I don't know what layers are on. I've got them all over the place.
Oh, gotcha.
I haven't been keeping track of my layers.
actually, what else can we do? Can this do a colorized thing, wherein you can do a hue colorization on a layer too? Let me check. Maybe I can.
Like what?
Those Let me. So if this is this layer, let me do it. Let me. Does this have hue like in Photoshop? Hue on color. Maybe not.
I like the blue bear better than the green bear.
It's okay. It's a great tool. This is fun.
It is fun.
This is very therapeutic.
Sitting, talking, and coloring.
Well, I got maybe like 3 more minutes, Aaron. My
I was just
big
gonna say,
big Bing is she just texted me that lunch is already ready.
no, that's fine because I was going to say to Nick if we have any other questions because we're wrapping up here.
Yeah. One last question.
Let's
You have
see.
anything, Nick?
Hold on one second. I'm showing some of Armand's work. I just put some of his work up on the screen. It's cropped a little funny because I was having to make a slideshow real quick, but we've got a bunch of work from your visual development course. We've got a bunch of stuff from your website, just so people can see some examples of your work. I wanted to share
Thank you.
some of the stuff just so people can get a sense of your work. So here's some background. Armand does, in addition to layout work, he's a huge in the industry for visual development and concept art. So he's done tons of stuff for there's some images, really cool images he did for Raya and the Last Dragon on the screen right now, and all kinds of stuff. So I just wanted to make sure people were familiar with all that. But let's see. Last question. Last question. Let me pick a good one here. See
By the way,
what we got.
before you ask that, I just want to tell everybody from the Philippines when Aaron Blaze was there. I mean, he's been in the Philippines twice.
Yes.
And I remember the time when we had to go. For those of you in Manila, we went around Taft Avenue, if you guys could know that, around LaSalle area, and we ate street food. you know, that
Yeah.
was a fun one. We tried a few street food and his game, and he enjoyed everything.
I love it
Good
all.
God. Yeah.
Yeah,
For
Nick
those
and I
of you.
make a point of trying to eat, that country's food as much as we can, especially the street food. I
Yeah.
love it.
Tim
Very
Hodge.
gutsy of yours.
Tim Hodge says hello, Armand. He's watching as well.
Oh, hey, Tim.
Timmy. Well, this is fun, Armand. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you, man. That was fun. I tell you, that was very restful for me.
No, this is great, and we're so happy to have you part of the team, and we're really looking forward to doing more stuff together. And
Yeah, likewise.
thank you
And
so
we'll talk more
much.
about the layout.
I know you're a busy guy, so thank you so much for making the time for us.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, thank you, and thank you, Nick, for having me. It's always fun to spend time with you guys.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, and everybody, we'll post this image onto social media later so you can take a look at it, and head on over to Creature Art Teacher. Armand's visual development course is 50% off this weekend, and we will definitely have him back on in a future stream, and while you're there, pick up some other courses too, because they're all on sale. So
Yep. Cool.
anyway,
Thank you so much, you guys.
All right. Well, thank you,
Oh, wait a
everybody.
minute, Armand.
Thank you, Aaron.
Armand,
yeah.
before you go, you got to sign it. Sign it somewhere,
Oh, yeah.
and then I'll sign it. Sign it. I'm gonna sign it here. This is a fun one. That was good. This is fun.
It's fun.
We came up with a little world.
I know. We should do it more often.
All right, man. Have a great
All
time.
right. Thanks, Aaron. Thanks, Nick. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
bye
Have a
guys.
good day.
Thank you so much, and thank you for tuning in, everybody. We will see you next week. And Aaron, you want to do your usual goodbye spiel?
Yep. So going out there and have a great weekend, you guys. Have a safe weekend. And once again, always go out there and put some beauty back into the world, because we need it, and that's what we do as artists. So I'll talk to you next week. Have a great week. See ya.
See ya.